Carpet care, and you may remember him from such TV specials as Studio 5 very recently. John, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Cameron.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk with you about today, you are an expert in cleaning carpets. Is that correct?
If 10,000 hours makes an expert, I've pushed a carpet cleaning wand for about 33,000, so I'm probably 3 experts in the carpet cleaning field.
My goodness. And you're not tired of it?
Actually, I really enjoy it. It's been a great living for me and my family, and it's allowed me to prioritize my life in different ways, as well as to connect with people in a pretty sacred and unique environment called their living room. And I love that nobody puts their mask on. So it's paid me dividends in very unique ways. It's allowed me to feed my family, and then in a strange way, it's allowed me to feed my soul. I love making friends and meeting people, and it's really neat to be able to walk into someone's house and have them trust you in their space, because it doesn't matter if you live in a little mobile home or a big old mansion, it's still your castle, it's still your sacred space. And so for me, it's fulfilled me in a lot of different ways over that course of my life.
That is really fascinating. I've never thought about that, but you're right.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you see people, you get an insight into who they really are.
Yeah, they don't have their game face on because I'm just the carpet cleaner coming over. And it's a really cool space to be able to meet that raw, beautiful side of people.
So has that grown your hope in humanity or diminished it?
Actually, it's made it very, I have more hope actually in humanity than I think a lot of people, because number one, I don't spend a lot of time on the in the socializing or electronicalizing. I spend time face to face with people. And when you have a chance to be in people's space and you see that it doesn't matter whether we're black or white or what we believe or don't believe, most of us at the end of the day want to be loved, and we want our kids to be happy and safe, and we want to be able to pay our bills and take care of our priorities without the judgments and expectations of others. And so I never thought that would be the reward of it all, but ultimately at the end of the day, that's my favorite part about cleaning. That's the number one reason I get excited to still get up and go do it, because I get to meet somebody else without their faces on. I call it the representative, the guy they send out to the world or the gal they send to church. So it's kind of unique, and I know that's not where you really think of success, but it's been huge for me.
No, that is fantastic. It's great to think about that. I spend a lot of time, I try to keep up with politics and, aware of what's going on, and it starts to get a little bit scary. You wonder if people are still people. And it's great to hear that they are. People are still people.
Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah.
So what I want to really get into is tips for our customers or for our viewers so that they can figure out how to keep their carpets cleaner on a day-to-day basis.
The number one strategy is cleaning, vacuuming on a regular basis. That's the number one strategy that you can do. About 80%, 80% of the stuff that's in your carpet's non-soluble. In other words, you can't get it out with water or emulsifiers, spotters, anything like that. So just a routine, regular vacuuming. And there's a real complicated formula about how many people are there and pets, or you could just vacuum 3 times a week. And if you have a lot of traffic, I know some people, especially where they have a lot of hard surfaces with pets, get really good results with the Roombas. I've had some accidents with Roombas hitting things of pets, and so that can be interesting, but it's just a methodical, routine maintenance, and then an annual cleaning. Statistically, about half the carpet that gets laid or more never gets cleaned, and it's pretty common for someone to have a family event, and then for them to say, oh, it's been 5 years, or so, and we clean backwards. We clean for how it looks, and then it happens to last longer and be healthier for our family. We wouldn't think of getting in a bed that we hadn't washed the sheets for months and months and months, yet we lay around on the carpet and we play with our kids, and it hasn't been cleaned for a long time. So you should clean it for the air quality and the health of your home, and then the appearance happens to be there, and then it can up to double the life of the carpet. So if you think about the cycle backwards, you're cleaning it to keep your family healthy. Somebody sent me a text yesterday that I thought was a very interesting perspective. He said, if you want to know how dirty your carpet is, do yoga in your living room. And I thought that was interesting. We just don't think about it. It happens very gradually. It's like going to the gym, and then you see one of your buddies 2 years later and he says, you look so good. And you think, no, I just look like me. Carpet gets soiled over a gradual period of time. Go grab your sofa, slide it out, and look at the line, and then see if it's time to call a qualified professional.
So I'm questioning on that, when vacuuming and even when you have someone come clean your carpets, do you need to move that furniture to vacuum and to do that, or
It's all personal preference. About a third of the homes we do are empty because of real estate transactions or people
sure.
moving, things like that. About a third of the houses we do, we move almost every stick of everything. Or I'll show up and it's all crammed in the bathroom, in the kitchen, and on the front porch. Or we don't move anything. So if you move your furniture around a lot, you won't have as consistent of traffic areas. It's probably important to shuffle things or shuffle a few things. We don't charge extra to do that. Some companies won't move any furniture. If it's reasonably movable, we will move it and take the necessary precautions to make sure we don't do damage. That's probably the most important thing, is just a thorough routine cleaning, maintenance. It's like we change our oil, we wash our clothes, we wash our sheets, and then we look down at our carpets one day and go, oh man, they're gross and disgusting.
So without naming any names, I am curious, what are the craziest spills or stains that you've been asked to get clean? I bet you have some nuts stories.
The one that blew my mind the most was a lady wanted me to clean her favorite recliner that her husband had shot himself in. And
my gosh.
I mean, I'm rarely speechless, Cameron. I've dealt with people in their homes for years and years and years, and that one kind of, and she just smiled and said, it's my favorite chair. and I went, oh, okay. I've seen the family pet taxidermied and stuck on the mantle. Fluffy was our favorite cat. I get it.
Okay.
I love how beautiful and how crazy we all can be, because I have my crazy Louis L'Amour collection that everybody thinks, isn't that like a 12-year-old thing, and it's all proudly displayed like comic books or it's just, we all have our neatness and,
we have swords,
our little idiosyncrasies. I think it's really neat. Also, I had a lady crawl around on a wool carpet one time with a bottle of Ivory dish soap and a scrub brush and scrub the whole living room, and it ended up taking 3 hours to rinse the soap out of it, so because it just hardened up. It dried literally like you couldn't walk on it. It was an old shag, and it dried in spikes, like spiky, like like a mohawk or something. Skin. Yeah, so we had to.
Oh my goodness.
We had to defoam the whole thing. That was an interesting one. I've been in basements with 6 inches of raw sewage. If you name what could happen in a house and get on carpets, I have one favorite client for years and years that finally passed away, and she had cats, not kids. And they lived in the basement. And twice a year we would just go out and decontaminate. I mean, we would literally put on gloves and face masks and go pick up the clinkers and enzyme it all and rinse it all out. And she would always cry and apologize, and I loved her a lot. She was really a neat lady, and finally she just quit apologizing. This is just like here to clean up after your kids, and I never complain. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. So I've loved all the different challenges over the years. You think it's just the same thing, but it's a pretty unique set of experiences dealing with people and solving problems. And another unique thing, again, it goes back to, I'm a real people person, so I can tell sometimes when I'm just there to clean the living room and spend a half hour with somebody who doesn't have a lot of family or friends, especially older people. I do a lot of little work for older people, and they'll feed us a sandwich, or it's a pretty neat experience. But it's the myriad of, from suicide to somebody who just stumbled across the living room with Jell-O or Gatorade or a cup of coffee. It's interesting what gets on carpets and what I'm really there for. Sometimes it's not always the carpet cleaning.
So you get to see, I mean, you really do get a wide breadth of the human experience.
Absolutely.
You've got the everyday, the mundane stuff where someone spills a drink on the carpet, but you also have those life-changing moments.
Yes.
And you're involved with those in a small way.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Weddings, people returning home from serving at their church and college, and birthdays and bar mitzvahs, and I've been in so many I clean for 3 different generations now in the same family. I'm cleaning for kids who I met when they were kids that are having kids.
Oh my goodness!
It's been a really, really amazing journey in offering a service to people, how to serve people, and how to help them feel love and light and gratitude in their home. I don't know how to describe it. It's different than just getting the spots out and getting paid.
That's fantastic. So shifting gears just a little bit, sometimes people have the question, they move into a new house and the carpet is just not great. I mean, how does a customer know or a homeowner know when you can have the carpets cleaned or when you should just replace the carpet?
The best thing to do is ask a professional. Usually most of us, and I can't speak for I don't know what everybody else is at our company. We have a little teeny, real easy to read fine print. It says if you're not happy, we'll give your money back. Oh. So I hate to work for free, Cameron, and as much as I have enjoyed getting to know you, I don't want to come over and work for nothing. So after 30 years of experience, I can pretty much have an idea, and if I know I'm going to get that 90-95% improved, I'm willing to take that chance that maybe you won't be satisfied. And I've had to refund money a couple times. Usually it comes down to communication rather than lack of skill. But it's usually just an experience. And if someone understands how to use the equipment that they have and how to use the chemistry at their disposal, most carpets are cleanable past a place where you think. And I always tell people, if I'm willing to risk a $300 maybe work for free, I'm pretty confident that you're going to like it.
True.
And a little bit of it is about discovery. Are you having tenants moving in? Are you moving in here yourself? Were there pets here, which we can identify? Are they moving in with pets? It usually just comes down to identifying what you're really looking for, because a lot of companies don't necessarily spend the time in discovery to know if they can solve your exact problem or not. Like it's not just, hey, let's get this as clean as we can and get the money and get out of here, but really taking the time to ask, are you going to keep this carpet forever? You have a brand new baby. Is the baby going to be on the carpet? What are you looking for? Are you like last house I bought, by the time I actually walked in the front door, I'd spent every nickel I had on incidental, so cleaning the carpets wasn't really a thing. I waited a few months, and is that what you're trying to do? So there's just lots of avenues to look at, what you're going to do, what your results are, and vetting out the company that you hire so you actually get what you pay for.
So coming from a carpet expert, what's the hardest kind of carpet to clean or to keep clean?
I struggle with the olefins and the commercial ones the most.
Like these really shallow...
Some of the new polyesters. I love all the nylons and stain guards, stain masters, and overspray. They have a protectant on them, most of the nylon carpets. That I seem to have better results with them. I like the way they dry.
Okay.
I like the way they retain, or they twist when they're hot water extracted. Most people don't know that most carpets are supposed to be hot water extracted every 12 to 18 months to keep the manufacturer warranties in place. And a lot of people don't find that out until after they have a problem. But I recently had a client who called me and said, hey, we got a problem in here, but you've been out. Can we get invoices to prove it? And the warranty, they actually covered the carpet because of some wear issues. And it was because they'd had it cleaned. And it has to be hot water extracted. Many of the dry cleaning methods actually have the potential to be voiding warranties.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what is hot water extracted?
It's called steam cleaning.
Okay.
But it's really superheated water. It's the closest you can come to taking your carpet, pre-spotting it, put it in the washing machine, wash it, and put it back down on the floor.
Gotcha.
Because there's a pre-spray which neutralizes the soil and emulsifies it, holds it in suspension, and then you neutralize and rinse it. And in certain applications, you can reapply an overspray protectant.
Gotcha.
To keep the stain-resistant qualities of the carpet.
And that's the process that makes the carpet take so long to dry?
Actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. There's two big complaints in my industry. One is I had a coupon, which is always a trick. If it looks too good to be true, it is. It always is. Always is. In oil changes, in brake jobs, in vent cleaning, in carpet cleaning, at the dentist, there's always a hook. If it's too good to be true, it is. And number two is it took a long time to dry. Carpets that are cleaned correctly, even with hot water extraction, even a carpet that I really spend a lot of time on, something that's heavily soiled, maybe 12 hours to dry. If it's adequately and effectively extracted, typically our dry times with a wet cleaning are 4 to 8 hours, not 48.
Wow.
4 to 8. If I clean it at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm out of your house by 11. Typically, by the time your kids come home from school, they can use the main traffic areas.
Wow, okay.
So it's just about understanding how to use the equipment and extracting. Everything you put down's got to go away. It's got to come back out. You got a big sponge there. So if you over soak it, get it wet, and you're in a hurry, it is going to take a long time to dry. And I just did a job yesterday, 2 days ago. What's today? Today's Friday. So Wednesday. I did a job Wednesday, and the lady said last time she had it cleaned, it took 4 days to dry. And I turned to her and said, okay, Lisa, if 4 hours from now you have the same feeling, you call me and I'll tear your check up. And she walked just as I was leaving. She said, I already know it's going to be drier. It's drier today, right now, as you're leaving, than mine was the next morning. So it's just about knowing how to get it clean, knowing how to do it, and using the equipment effectively.
That's
having
fantastic.
a qualified expert. There's not a lot of regulation in the industry, so almost anybody can grab a carpet cleaning machine and say I'm a professional and start charging $5 a room. And that's ridiculous, of course, but that's where you get all the coupons where people are promising they're going to clean your whole house for 120 with stairs, or, you know. And in that regard, just as a consumer awareness, just ask the company that you're about to hire, do you pay your technicians commissions on what they sell me when they get to my house? Just ask that question. That's the number one question that somebody could ask to protect themselves. I know lots of other reputable cleaners in the industry that I refer. We refer back and forth to each other on a regular basis. That's the one thing we talk about. No upsells. Just you offer a menu of services and you really do what you say you're going to do for what you told people you're going to charge them. And you pay your technicians based on a legitimate wage for the time they're there, not come, because typically when what happens is your wife will say, hey sweetheart, the carpets are going to get cleaned on Monday, let's move the furniture. And then you go to work and you come home and you're expecting $129. Well, we had dogs, so we needed it sanitized and we needed the Scotch Guard on there, and all of a sudden it's $400, which isn't a bad deal always, but it's the way you got to the not bad deal.
Yeah.
I've learned years ago that I'd rather have somebody not hire me because I tell them the truth than think they're going to get a really good deal and then have a bad taste in their mouth after we leave.
So if people want to get in touch with you to utilize your services, what's the best way to reach out?
We are signaturecarpetcareutah.com. And then the best way probably is just, I'm old fashioned, so I'm not, like if you email me, I'll never respond. I'm so busy most of the time out in the field that I don't get my emails. But if you could text or call 801-577-6122. We're in Kaysville, Utah here. Signature Carpet Care is the name of our business. Again, 801-577-6122.
I really appreciate you being on the show, John.
Thanks, Cameron.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, brother.
Yep. Okay, so while we're waiting for our next guest to come on, we do have a message from one of our sponsors. So I would like to talk about Jared Lee with NC Payments, located in Centerville, Utah. They handle all things credit card processing. You may remember Jared Lee. He appeared on the show a couple weeks ago. Fantastic guy. If you are a business and are accepting credit card payments, Jared would love the opportunity to take a look at your current processing fees. There's no cost and no obligation to have him do an analysis. He actually did one of these analyses for me and found that at the volume that we were doing, which is very low, we do very little credit card volume, most is through other methods, and he said at the volume we were doing, we were good where we were, so I can attest to that. Whether you're a new startup or a large multi-million-dollar company, NC Payments has the options to customize credit card processing to your needs. They have unique tools that can help reduce costs and allow you greater access to get paid easily from your customers. They are endorsed by many local banks and credit unions, offer no contracts or cancellation fees. They offer help and guidance through PCI compliance as well. If you are local, Jared would love to come stop by and meet you to explore different options and cost savings for your credit card processing. And if you aren't local, that's okay. He would love to do the same process over the phone. Contact Jared Lee today. Okay, our next guest, who I'm very excited to have on the show, is named Curtis Howe. I'm so sorry, I don't know why I say that. Curtis Howe from Smart Social, SMRT Smart. And he is going to talk about ways that businesses can better utilize social media to grow their clientele and see more of a return. Curtis, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay, so how long have you been in the social media game?
Well, I've actually been in for about 10 years in social media. I've done this business for about 7.5 years. I've had other businesses in social media and then doing it for myself also.
Well, that is a long time in the social media world.
Yes, that's pretty much almost the whole time social media's been around.
Yeah. Okay, so why SMRT?
So we went with SMRT because When we interviewed our customers to ask them, what are we doing? What do you like about our services? We like to just get feedback. They just said, you guys are like the smartest people around. You do so well with us. You just know what needs to be done. And so we just called our company smart. Basically, we took the A out. Part of it's just because tech companies take vowels out of their names oftentimes anyways.
Yeah.
But we just tell people that we work our A off for you. So
That's good. That's good. Okay. So this is such a foreign world to so many people. The world of social media, how to actually monetize it and use it to grow your business.
Yeah.
What would you say are maybe the top 3 tips that you would give a business that's looking to start using social media?
So, boy, the top 3 tips, if you're just getting into it and want to start taking advantage of it for your business, the number one thing that I would say is know who your customer is. Take time to really find out who's that customer that you want to attract to your business. What do they look like? Where do they live? What kind of demographic information can you pull together on them as well is very important. So that will help tremendously in making sure that you can get to the right person. Because social media is not just about broadcasting, it's about talking to the right person, getting in front of that right audience. And so the more you know about who your customer is, everything else is going to be much more effective. So that'd be tip number 1. Tip number 2 is you want to have a really good graphic designer, branding person to help you get your logos in place, get everything done, design out the sites well so that they look good, they're easy to find, you have them set up properly. Then the third thing is you need to be posting what people want to see. So you got to think like a publisher. So businesses think like a business. I need to market myself. I need to talk about my business all the time and tell people I'm here and what they can buy from me and the coupons and specials and deals. And that's okay, but the average person doesn't care about that stuff. They want what's important to them. So you got to realize the average person spends 20, 30 minutes at a time in any social network, and so they bounce around. And so if they're bored, they move past. So you've got about 3 or 4 seconds to really impact that person. So what you're posting has to get them to stop and to see it and leave a comment or like it or do something with it before they move on. If it doesn't, if it's just an ad, oftentimes they'll pass by it quickly and then they just don't see you anymore, basically.
So I think, a lot of businesses make the mistake of equating social media with advertising. And
Yes.
that's not what it is. It's
Correct.
marketing on a deeper level. There's so many different tools.
Yeah. Well, and businesses need to realize that social media has dramatically changed the game when it comes to a customer finding a business that can help them fulfill a need or solve a problem or things like, for instance, the carpet care with John that was just on here. We've been doing carpet care. If you had a major stain on your carpet or something, if you think about it, back in the 80s and 90s, you would open up the big yellow book that we hardly ever hear about anymore. But you open it up, you'd have to look through and call all these different companies and when is your availability and what is your pricing, how soon can you come and do you have specials or deals or help out with this or that. So you have to do this big interview process and it ruined your day, basically, because it took so much of your time to figure out who do I need to hire. And the reality is we as consumers want to have a really good service. We're willing to even pay more to have good service. We're not necessarily looking for the cheapest person, we're looking for the best. And so part of that's price, but most of that is, are you going to take care of me? And if there's a problem, you're going to solve it, not make it a hassle. Basically, that's all we're looking for. The problem is from the phone book, you can't find that answer.
Yeah.
But once you hire them, then you'll know whether you made a good choice or not. But then it's too late. So that's the problem that consumers have. That's their fundamental problem in finding a business to work with. So then come into the 2000s when we have Google. So we have internet searches and the ability to find things faster. So instead of spending hours and hours and hours doing this interview, it cuts it down to about an hour. Because you can pull up carpet cleaning, your city, whatever, and then it'll pull up a list of them. You can look at their websites, you can find some pricing, find some information about them, maybe check a couple reviews. It'll just shorten that interview process. But it still doesn't answer that fundamental question is, are you going to take care of me and fix the problems, basically? So it just made it easier to find somebody.
Yeah.
So now comes social media. Now, if I have a stain on my carpet, something goes horribly wrong, and we have a big problem, we need a carpet cleaner, I don't even have to do a search anymore. Because I just jump on Facebook and go, hey friends, I just had this problem, who should I hire, send? And then I go about the rest of my day like there's nothing wrong. I check back in an hour onto my Facebook page, and I'm going to have a whole list of people telling me, here's the carpet cleaners that worked great, here's the ones that you don't want to hire, and why. And so my network just found me the answer. I didn't have to search, I just outsourced it to my network. And they told me who to hire. And if I got the same carpet cleaner 2 or 3 times in that list, they're probably going to get the first phone call. And the reality is, if you think about it, how much of that whole process was marketing? None of it.
It's all organic.
Yeah, it was all about taking care of your customers. So customer service is supremely important these days because consumers have the potential to talk to lots and lots of people in a very short period of time. So the more you can take care of your customers, the better. That's a good fundamental business principle that you should follow.
Sure.
Anyways, so the value today, though, is getting your customers to be your marketers. That's really the essence of social media, is how do we get your customers to tell more people about you? That's really what you want. So having a good presence, keeping people around, doing things to help keep your customers on your page, remind them of you, they'll encourage referrals, repeat business, as well as help introduce you to more people is very, very important. So,
and then when a business is, you correct me if I'm wrong, but when a business is shouted out on Facebook, they can actually link the page, the Facebook page of the company, and then they can go there without having to leave the app. If they're on mobile, they can go straight to the page, and that's where having all that content that you've been posting that shows that you're engaged and that you understand your customers, that's where that becomes really valuable.
Exactly. It makes a huge difference. That goes back to setting those settings right on your Facebook. There's oftentimes we'll take over businesses' social media presence, and they already have sites set up, and they're like, why are you charging me setup for my sites? I already have them set up. It's because we're going to have to look through them. We're going to check logos, and oftentimes we're redesigning logos and redoing things to help them out. And they don't realize what it really takes. But once we get it set up, it works well. And that's one of the settings that very few businesses realize is there. That if you don't go into your settings in your Facebook page and make sure that that is selected properly, no one can tag you. So as a business, you can actually turn that off where no one can tag you anywhere. So you want to make sure it's on, because anytime your customer types your name in, you want that to be linkable right to your Facebook page so that people can instantly go look at your page, see the regular content you're posting, see how other people are engaging and interacting with you, which makes all the difference. All the difference. That does help. So in a way, it's all marketing, but it's a very different way to think about marketing, basically, than the traditional way.
Well, I mean, the business philosophy of, it's not enough to have a solution to a customer's problem. You have to have a solution that you have to be able to solve the problem the way the customers want it solved.
Yeah.
And that you could look at that, especially before the advent of technology, you could look at that as you're a slave to your customers. You've got to be exactly what your customers want, and that's still true. But with social media, you're able to change the context a little bit into, hey, we're partners. You're the hero of your story. I'm what they call the MacGuffin. I'm the tool that you use to accomplish your goal. Or maybe I'm the wise sage that leads you along. And that it's a lot easier to portray that over time and build a more devoted fan base. Or, I mean, really, they're not even just customers, they're fans at this point.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's really what you want. If you think about it from a business standpoint, one of the best ways to grow your business is repeat business. It's the least expensive marketing there is. Once you've paid all that money to acquire a customer, why not keep them? Because it's easier. They've done business with you. If they're happy, it's just a low barrier to entry to keep them in, keep them work with you. So the more you can keep them with you, then that, by itself, that'll improve your business and your revenue on its own. So having a good strategy to keep your customers around is very important, especially with social media, because now they can tell their friends about you. And the more that you remind them of you, then the more that you stay top of mind and the more they help out. So good, I guess a case in point of how content can help with this, the things that you post on your social media sites. We have a client that's an HVAC company. We made a video with them years ago that's the name of the video is, "What should my air conditioner sound like?" And most people have never thought about that. I have this little unit sits outside my house and makes some noise every once in a while when it's hot, and I don't know what that's supposed to sound like. Does that sound right or not? So people watch the show. It's like 3 minutes, so it's a really succinct video. And what we've learned through exit interviews, talking with people who've watched it and things over the years, is that people will watch that video And they will now, every time they hear their condenser in their outside kick on, they listen for it. They'll walk by that window in their kitchen that's near it, and they'll stop and go, is that what it's supposed to sound like? Yes, that's right. Okay, we're good. Whew. And move on with their life and don't even think about it anymore. Don't give it any more thoughts. Or they're in the backyard having a barbecue or something and it'll make some noise. And they've even been at their neighbor's or friend's house and their neighbor's condenser will turn on. And they'll be like, dude, have you ever had that looked at? That sounds terrible. Oh, I've never really thought about it much. It is kind of loud. No, did you know that this is probably what it is? And here's what could be going on. And they're like, really? How did you know that? I watched this video on YouTube and it showed this to me. And so what are they going to do? They're going to pull out their phone. They're going to search it in YouTube and share it. Now, the beauty is the company's logo is on the video. Their contact information is at the end of the video. They have their shirts with their names and stuff on it. None of it had anything to do with sales. It wasn't a sales video. It was just an education video. But what it did is it planted a thought in their mind. It put that seed in there. So if ever they walk by their condenser and they hear it and it doesn't sound right, they're going to wonder what's wrong. Now they need to have somebody come in and help them. The beauty of that is you're the first phone call now. So it's planting that seed and getting people to think and educate them. That makes a huge difference.
So what is a cost-effective way? So we do a lot of those types of videos through Robin Hood Studios for people that way, and it is very effective. It's effective over the long term. So what would you say is the most cost-effective way to put out that useful, value-added content that's going to build that kind of audience growth?
I think, there's multiple different social sites that exist. So of course, understanding your customer will help you know which sites you need to be on for your customer. So if you're going for older generations, younger generations, that'll determine which sites they're going to be more active on and so forth. And then you want to think about the format that's acceptable on that social platform. So YouTube allows a lot different types of video stuff versus like Instagram. For instance, Instagram, you can do short videos, but if you get over 10,000 followers, then you can do a little bit more with videos and links and things like that. And then there's Instagram stories. And so you want to really think through how are you portraying this to the right audience to make sure it's the right medium. For videos especially, put it on as many sites as you can. It used to be you put it on your YouTube channel and that's where it stayed. And then you shared links to everywhere else to it. And in today's world, that doesn't work as well because Facebook doesn't want you to leave Facebook. So if you put a link to your YouTube channel, it just shows up as a link. But if I download that same video into Facebook, it will auto-play as soon as it pulls up in their news feed.
Yeah.
And then you have the SRT files or the closed captioning on it so that the words appear on the screen as well. Again, it just helps capture people's attention. So a key thing that we always recommend is the first 5 seconds, there needs to be something that gets people to stick around for 5 more seconds. And then if they stick around for about 10 seconds, hopefully you've caught their attention enough to know what this video is, that they're now interested in watching it. So that first 10 seconds is the most crucial part of it. Have something to catch their attention and then explain what it is quickly so that they can know whether or not they want to go into this more or not. It's not that different from like newspaper articles.
Yeah.
They write a headline that's catchy, then the first couple lines are very general, but they slowly get a little more detailed as you go around so you can get bite-sized wherever, jump in and out of the article wherever you need to. And if you build your content that way, then it just makes it easy for people to consume it, to pick up what they need, and to move on if they need to or dive deeper.
So if people want to reach out, obviously you're qualified for this. You've got all the answers. You're doing a really great job. So if people want to use Smart Social, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
The best way is reach out to our website, smrt.social. That is our website, smrt.social. Or just come find us on social media. We're on pretty much every platform out there. So send us a message. We'd love to help you out and make sure that everything's working properly for you.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for being here, Curtis.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. So really quick, I want to take a moment and talk about what we're doing here, Venture Utah. So Venture Utah is a way for small business owners to get in front of a larger audience. It is free to be a guest on the show. What John did today, what Curtis did today, that is free for anybody who would like to come on the show, as long as we can find a segment that's appropriate for you and that fits. So if you want to be a guest on the show, just go to ventureutah.com, click on Become a Guest, and fill out that form there, and we'll let you know as soon as we have an opening that fits really well with your business. Our second second sponsor for today that I would love to talk to is none other than Smart Social, baby. It is the Smart Show today. Smart Social is all about helping small businesses increase their social media presence and find more customers online. Using social media is an extremely effective way of building a loyal customer base that comes back to you every time they need your services. You can use social media to get new customers, to engage existing customers, and add value and create loyalty through your customer base in ways that are not possible with old media. So normally, Smart Social will offer consultations. They'll offer a strategy session at a rate of $98 an hour. But for our viewers today, you can have a strategy session for free. All you need to do is reach out to Curtis Howe with Smart Social. I don't have his phone number memorized, I apologize, but we will have that either on the screen or down below in the comments section. We'll make sure you have access to that, and just let Curtis know that we sent you, that you are a viewer of Venture Utah and you'd like to take advantage of his free strategy session. That is a minimum $98 value. Some of these strategy sessions take 3 or 4 hours of time, and so that'd be whatever 98 times 4 is. I can't do math on camera, and I'm not even going to try. So that is a fantastic offer for you. I would also like to take a moment and say thank you to all of our guests today and all the guests that we've had on the show so far. We've been very blessed to interview a number of distinguished, incredible business professionals, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to continue doing so. We would like to continue doing Venture Utah for a long time, and you can help make that happen. Just like I did with Smart Social just now and NC Payments earlier in the program, you can advertise on Venture Utah and reach our audience while contributing to a cause that is going to help the small business community at large. So advertising right now is very affordable. We're offering it at below market rate because we want to get people in as quickly as we can so that we can continue to pour money into the show to make it better for you and provide more value for the small business community here in Utah. So if that is something that interests you, you can also head to ventureutah.com and click advertise with us, and you'll be able to see some information there. There's a form there that you can fill out if you'd like to become an advertiser. You can also reach out to Robin Hood Studios directly at the phone number 801-979-2128. Again, that's 801-979-2128. I do have that number memorized. So if that's something, again, that interests you, reach out to us. Thank you so much for being here. We have a shorter show today. Go on and have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.